Well, welcome back to our live show on Sheffield Live TV of a Thursday evening. It's book night, author's night it is. The author of this, Wednesday versus United, the Sheffield Derby, Richard Crooks, is here, as is the Sheffield Star's Danny Hall, with his epic first book, which is, he's one of our own, the story of Chris Wilder's Blades Revolution, which you particularly liked.
Oh yeah, you say first book. Is
it going to be
one of? Is it one of many, mate? Or
no? not for a while anyway.
Blood, sweat, and tears doing that one.
Just a bit
well,
more
look,
than that as well.
It's a continuing story. So what happens? All right, I don't want to tempt fate, but things are looking good. You know, I think you and I, watching United, even with your objective hat on, expect United to challenge for the top six this season.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
do you, Richard?
Yeah.
I think they'll be there or thereabouts, but not quite make it.
There or thereabouts. What's
good.
There or thereabouts. What about you, Mr. Gregg?
The finish playoffs. I think automatic.
All right, I hesitate to say that. I'm not ruling them out of automatic. So we all think that you have a very competitive season.
Yeah.
So supposing it goes perfectly, what are you going to do then?
Oh, I suppose I'll have to look at it, won't I? I'll have to have a sit down and think. It'd be great to write another chapter.
Volume 2 or the book again and added to significantly?
Yeah, significantly.
Well, have you read it, by the way?
No, and I'm just looking at these on the desk, and if I saw both of them in a bookshop, they would be the first two books that I would be picking off the shelves. Right. And I need to.
I'm not paying for.
Yeah, and putting them under my jacket and walking out.
Speaking of painful ones, James.
Yeah.
You know, at any point.
I've been saying this to Danny for a bit. I do need to get one sorted. Yeah, brilliant.
Seriously, it's got some great accounts in there from players of the season, personal stories and team stories. But in particular, you know, he's got a lot of supporters writing really well. Obviously, you spoke to them and then wrote it, but as told to. They're really good accounts and. You know, getting under the fabric of the season from their perspective as well.
That's one of the things I thought when I sat down to think about the book. I thought, you know, who do you want to get in there? Obviously, you want Chris, you want players who've lived it, but I don't think you could tell the story of what he's done and how he's done it without the fans as well, because you know that kind of, you know, trio of fans, manager, players, so entrenched together that I think it was important to kind of get their whole. That whole kind of viewpoint.
You've got some pictures from them as well.
Yeah, did well with pictures as well.
Some really good images.
Yeah, because they're living it, aren't they? You know, wearing the press box a little bit removed. You know, up in the gantry or whatever. These are in the thick of it. You know, they're paying for tickets in the away end, seeing scenes like I think that you're going to show us in a.
I'm going to show one picture in particular in a minute that caused a ripple of interest.
Oh, there we go.
Exactly.
In a minute. Oh, there we are. Now then, well, this. I mean, that's a fantastic photo, and it comes from the MK Dons towards the end of the season, the away match. A fan on a beam above the crowd. I don't know how high he was, but he was at a considerable height there, risking life and limb.
Yeah, and that picture's been everywhere, which is probably just as well, because I doubt the guy can remember it particularly well. But, I mean, you have to be.
They were singing
inebriated.
If he can't remember it particularly well, that makes what he did there even more dangerous.
But that was like an iconic image of the season,
singing
wasn't
the
it?
We're on the March with Wilder's song, weren't they? And he was sort of leading it, standing up.
Yeah, the guy with the flare, and kind of captured the guy hand up with the flare behind it. It's really iconic, isn't it? So,
it's fantastic. Jamie Wallace, I think, in the book was credited with sending you that picture. Okay,
I've seen it from so many different angles.
The guy is an unidentified supporter of.
Well, who knows?
Who knows who it was? He knows who he is. Well, he might not. Maybe
that shocked his memory. Yeah.
You done anything like that, Richard, in your Al supporting career?
No, nothing like that.
Yeah. Memories. You do say, and this is something that only you and I, of the four of us here, are old enough to remember, how you start in one position on the terraces and you finish in another.
Absolutely.
You're in crowd sways, aren't you?
Yes. You can't control the crowd. You have to go with it, up, down, round about, and what you avoid is the crush barrier.
I know. Yeah. I mean, they were there for safety, but if you were hemmed against that barrier, as I was on one occasion, that is not a pleasant experience at all.
Absolutely.
And you wait for the crowd just to
come back off. Yeah.
I don't know about you, James, but I'd love to have experienced it.
Yeah, I'd love to have kind of seen and experienced it.
Maybe just once.
Yeah.
I've done it once at Burton Albion away in a checker trade trophy game or whatever it was, Johnson's Paint Trophy. So
Right.
probably not quite the same experience that you'll have had,
the derby on Shoreham Street in 70, with United and Wednesday cheek by jowl.
Yeah. Crowds are a living thing. That's a bit, that's moving all the time.
Some of the videos that you've seen of the crowd kind of moving as one like that.
I mean, you don't. I mean, like Danny says, you see it on the videos, but like the closest you get to that now is stood in an away end at a Walsall or somewhere where there's no seats basically, and that's bedlam when there's a goal go in or whatever, and you kind of move around. But it's not like it was, and you read stuff about it. There's a thread on the Blades forum this week about sort of old pictures for no reason, and they're sort of talking about all these old grounds and sort of the old cop at Hillsborough, which was like the big mound basically.
Absolutely.
And I can't get my head around it. I just can't physically imagine it.
I'd love to imagine it. I'd love to experience it. So at least once.
It was something else.
There's a great description of the Copper Hills we call the Alp of humanity, and that absolutely brilliantly describes it when it was full.
That's
the
great,
shape
actually.
But like a camel's hump, wasn't it?
Yes, right at the top, and then come down. People just
You could start at the top and end up halfway down.
There's a fantastic picture when Pele came with Santos, I think it is. And you can see him in the background. It's massive people. Unbelievable. God knows how many people are on there.
You wonder how on earth it was ever allowed, really, in the light of other tragic events subsequently. But you do wonder that.
You do, but at Hillsborough certainly, what you didn't want was rain, because there was no roof.
No. But
there's swings and roundabouts to it, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was water flowing down the terraces whether it rained or not. Or liquid, anyway.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Maybe not actually. Off that completely.
We'll stick to the seats then, shall we?
Well, great stuff. Right, we're going to go on to some more images from the book after we've heard from James and more of your thoughts on what. Just think about this. You two, what are your own personal highlights from your own book? If you ever think about that, James,
do that.
James rounds everything up.
Your unique selling points. We might have seen on Twitter today, if you have the misfortune of following myself or Alan, that Sheffield FC and Stockbridge Park Steels, as both their official accounts, been engaging in some good old-fashioned banter. All for good fun. Tuesdays when the two sides meet in the League Cup at the Coach and Horses. And the said banter was about the 43 goals in the opening 7 matches for Sheffield FC. And that is correct, because I've just had a little look on my Google. The Sheffield FC account that got in touch to talk about it. Absolutely incredible. He sent me a couple more messages as well, saying, don't forget the 7 that we had in our last pre-season friendly, and the 13 goals that were scored in the testimonial game against United. Of course, where it was 11-2. Matt Roney with that late penalty.
So if you add all those together,
you're not counting Matt's penalty, are you?
7 plus the 13 goals, that's 20.
So that's another 20 more.
20 to add on to that figure. What was that figure from the proper
It was 43.
43.
So 63 in 9 games.
63 in 9.
Yeah.
7 9s is 67 a game then.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
Average.
Yeah, average.
So you might get some entertainment then at the Coach and Horses ground or wherever Sheffield FC.
Absolutely.
Put all your money on 0-0.
The fellow who tweeted
100%.
It will be
Put your mortgage on that.
The fellow who's tweeting in, and thank you very much for tweeting in as well. It's always good when you get in touch with the programme. Over 55 years since I can find a run to compare it to. 49 goals in 7 League Cup games back in 1962 to 63. And definitely more entertaining than 1863, where there was 9 games played by Sheffield Club. And there was an aggregate of 1 goal for and none against. So yeah, I think the game's come on a little bit.
Mind you, I saw Sheffield FC saying they like that defence these days.
Yeah, I think
they
so.
wish they'd still got that defence.
Just a bit, well, yeah, I think
amazing.
Stockbridge sort of reckon that club need a plumber, I think it was. Both neck and neck in the league, by the way, as well, on the same amount of points. Both sides have got 2 wins, a draw, and 3 losses as well. In the Northern Counties Eastern League, 10th are Hallam after 5 games, helped by a win last night away from home against Selby Town. Sam Smith with a brace, not the singer, so I'm told. Sheffield United ladies, they lost 2-0 in their opening gambit into the Women's Super League 2 as well. Unfortunately, it was a result that flattered Durham as well, but they're actually straight back in action this week at Stockbridge Park Steels' ground, so do go up there on Sunday and watch them. They play against Birmingham there on Sunday. In Rugby League, Sheffield Eagles, they lost to Featherstone. They've got Batley this weekend away from home as their sort of qualifiers, the Super 8s or whatever you want to call it, in the Championship comes to a close. An emphatic night last night at the Sheffield Arena, and a must go to watch the Steelers.
Yeah,
because they've brought in 16 new players. They could be bringing in number 17 as well today, so I'm told as well. So look out for that, Steelers fans, on the Twitter sphere as it was. They won 4-3, last minute goal as well against Fife. And that bodes well for the fixtures this weekend against Manchester and Guildford.
Had they lost against Fife at home?
Yes, they had.
And then they went to
Fife. And then last night, won 4-3. Yeah. Fantastic stuff for them. Massive win for Matt Fitzpatrick as well on the European Tour last weekend. He's missed out on the European Ryder Cup team in Paris in a couple of weeks. Everybody will be talking about that. Of course, he played in the last one on the losing side in Hazel team, so he'll be a bit gutted to miss out on that. But he just reminded everybody how good he was with his 5th European Tour win in just his 4th season. And, well, it returns, doesn't it? The Football League, Blades fans and Owls fans.
Thank God for that.
I know you think the same as me about that.
Fortnight,
Echo everybody's sentiments, I think, with that, because it's been boring, hasn't it? International break, you think World Cup semi-final, bit of a feel. I couldn't care less about watching England.
Not really.
So, Blades against Bristol. You're going down there, Danny.
Great.
Norwood, Stevens, great to see them in action. David Brooks played for Wales as well, which is quite good to watch. And Ben Woodburn was in the squad as well. And Owls have got Stoke at Hillsborough. So that returns. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's my game.
Is that your game?
The Hillsborough game for TalkSport. You're at Bristol for
a nice easy journey to ease your way back into
Absolutely,
it. All the way down there, which is always
perfect.
appreciated.
And where are you?
I am not on a game this weekend.
Not on a game this weekend. So your international break continues.
It does continue, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's horrible. I did a game at Scunthorpe last weekend, and I didn't get the break, and I was happy not to get the break. But a fortnight away from Championship action is too long. Yeah. Your highlights, gentlemen, then from your own book, your favourite passages, chapters, whatever. Richard, you first.
Yeah, difficult questions. I thoroughly enjoyed writing it and doing the research and going back to the 1890s and getting some quotes from the newspapers of the time. But I think if it's one area, it's my personal experience at the games, and it's not so much the actual football and the quality of the football, though that does come out, but it's actually what was it like being there. And I think one of the best, in my view, one of the best chapters, or two of them, were the derbies of last season. Because I like to write, and at Bramall Lane, I want you to be there with me. I want you to feel it, how it was for me. And a couple of people have read it and said, yeah, actually, that must have been a bit tasty. I've got a different word for it. But it's that. And I like to think that comes out. Yes, of course, the passion, the fervour. But what's it like going into the Bramall Lane end, when you're surrounded by the red and whites? I use a phrase in there, we were invaders in a foreign field. And that's exactly how it felt. I've absolutely no doubt if you're a Unitedite going to Hillsborough, you feel exactly the same.
Even though it's your city.
Yeah.
Oh, even though you're within your own city.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling, that, isn't it? It is weird.
A friend of mine won't even drive anywhere near Bramall Lane. If he's having to go through the city or round the city, he makes a point of, he won't go down Bramall Lane or Shoreham Street. He'll avoid it.
To go for a
he likes to think it's not there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
What about you?
Well, I grew up 5 minutes away from Hillsborough, so it's even stranger to go into a ground that's almost in my postcode and feel like a complete stranger, an enemy. It's really bizarre. Any other time in the world, you go past there, or Hillsborough's there, don't mean anything. On that day, you almost feel, like say, invaders in a foreign field is pretty much bang on to me.
Great turn of phrase.
Brilliant, fantastic.
You mentioned Hillsborough, some great games over the years. We talked in part one about how influential that derby result was from Hillsborough last season in the way that the season went for both clubs from there.
Sure.
Even more so in '79, the so-called Boxing Day massacre. Yeah. We were just talking to Danny during the break about that, the 4-0 Wednesday win over United, which dramatically transformed the season for both clubs. United were top, I think, going into that game.
No question. The context is everything, because Wednesday had been a very barren period during the 70s. United had been high in the early part of the decade. In the in the same division, the old third division, 79-80 for the first time, meeting up after 10 seasons. United top of the league, favourites without doubt. Wednesday about 7th or 8th at the time of the game, and it, as you say, Boxing Day morning. No transport, no public transport down there. The expectation was there, but frankly, I went there with trepidation because I thought, we can't lose to them. We just can't. But deep down, I thought, bloody hell. Excuse my French.
That's okay. I mean, it wasn't as one-sided as 4-0. Let me come in on that.
No, you're absolutely right. I think history's been rewritten here because actually at the game, and obviously standing on the open cop, it was backwards and forwards. There was no team dominant in that first half. Spider's goal was fantastic. Spider Mellor, just brilliant to cross into the Cop goal, and then there's a release from the Wednesdayites, an absolute release, and we're up. We're 1-0. But United could easily have got back into that game. They hit the post before half-time, great save from Bob Boulder. It could so easily have been on terms. And what changed it, I think, was when Mick Spate had to go off, the United captain. He was taken off, and that really had a great impact. And once Wednesday got the second, the third came, and the fourth, and obviously for Wednesdayites, it was just fantastic.
It's Terry Corran's day. Just mentioning Hillsborough derbies, just a favourite photo of mine from Richard, your book. Just have a quick look at this, because I think that's a classic shot. That's Johnny Fanfan, legendary Wednesday striker there with a header. And as it says on the caption there, Len Badger and Alan Hodgkinson are kind of looking on there. I don't think that went in. I think it would have said there if it had. That was in September 1964.
You're right. And the game United won 2-0.
Did they?
And I think, yes, they did. And I think the old gable up there on the picture, and the fact that United wore white, I think, was, hang on, I don't like that. I don't like it when Wednesday have a change colour at Bramall Lane. It's red and white and blue and white, and that's what it should be.
I mean, you'll hate it this season with the United kit then. It's white and red,
it's white on the back,
So it'll look like that.
It's been, I've got to say, that was nice actually at Hillsborough. I mean, Hillsborough's nice anyway, but I mean, it was nice seeing the blue and white, because I know that in previous, I know that I played each other for 6 years, but it was before it was yellow, I think. Did they wear, the blades wore yellow at Hillsborough?
That's an away kit this season, isn't it? That luminous yellowy green.
I wonder if they might have to this season.
The Dave,
should be a shame.
Yeah, the Dave Jones, Danny Wilson season was that, and it is a shame. You're right. It doesn't make
the same.
No, and it's almost like as a supporter, it almost feels like half a goal almost, going against you, because I don't know. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Any other match you're playing, against.
Don't mind. It's part of that identity,
isn't it? Isn't it?
United against Wednesday. United is red and white stripes. Playing in, Wednesday's away kit, playing in luminous green or whatever. It's not. It doesn't seem like United.
They could be wearing pink. It's not going to make any difference to the result, is it really? But it's a psychological thing.
Absolutely.
For the fans.
You've grown up blue and white or red and white, and then when they meet, it's blue and white versus red and white.
That's the way it should be, and there's no reason why these colours and changes of kit and everything are so unnecessary and get in the way of the spectacle we all enjoy. Or is it just you and I, Richard?
No, I don't think so. I think it extends down the generations.
Right, let's hope so. We've got 5 minutes left, so let's fast forward to, not many weeks now, to November the 9th, the evening of Friday, where this is again something that didn't used to happen. It was Tablets of Stone. It will be played at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Here we are of a Friday evening, November the 9th, Sheffield United v Sheffield Wednesday. Danny, that one's in your patch, mate. So
Yeah.
He's so enthusiastic about it, isn't he?
Is it as soon as that, November 9th?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Sorry.
I'll circle that in the diary.
That's telling, isn't it? That's telling.
Absolutely.
It's been in your diary since June.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
The pictures came out.
And me, you had to correct me when we were talking before. Which ground is the first one at? So I hadn't made a proper note of it. Being totally impartial. You had. You knew.
I'm in Danny's Park, I'm afraid. Honestly,
Really?
yeah, because even the one at Hillsborough last season, I was like, no, don't want to go, not interested. People go, do you want a ticket? No. Do you want a ticket? No. Getting offered tickets left, right, and centre.
Right.
Didn't want to go. Where are you watching it? In the pub or at home on my own. The morning of the game, one of my mates rung me and he went, you want a ticket? And I went, yeah, all right. And I went
relented.
an hour before kick-off, and I thought, I'm going.
I'd have snatched your hand off if
It's just, no. And to be fair, it was probably the best decision I could have made going.
Sure.
But I hate it. I'm the same as you, Danny. I just don't
That's no
want...
reflection on, being worried about,
is it this generation, Richard?
I don't know.
What's wrong with
I'm absolutely staggered. Kids in the schoolyard at Anns Road couldn't wait to get to the Derby games. It was the big event of the season.
You're both players. Do you think owls of your generation
I think the same, completely the same. Genuinely,
I
think it depends really, because I think if I'm being completely honest, I didn't think that the Blades would win at Hillsborough, and I think that because of that, I was thinking I'm not going to that noisy place. I've been enough times when they've lost. Chris O'Grady scoring that goal to lose 1-0 was the last time I went, and that's all that sticks in my mind. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go and watch all those 25,000 blue and white shirts bouncing up and down and giving you the rods. I did not want that.
But Wednesday fans felt the same about the return at Bramall Way.
Oh, absolutely.
Which finished
when they won 0-0.
They went with trepidation. You went with trepidation.
Oh, absolute trepidation. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, really.
You thought the same as you thought you'd lose, didn't you?
Oh, no question. Well, no, I thought if Joss could get them organised, it was his first game, and could really get some steel behind them. I think if Carlos had been in charge, it would have been a different thing. But if he could do it and put his stamp on it, and we didn't know anything about Joss at that time, and he came with the back three, as you'll remember, and they stood up. And it was really, in terms of a ground, the hostility, the atmosphere, it was awful. But it's all that a derby is about. And Wednesday stood up, so I was hoping for a draw.
I think it spoke volumes. I put it in the book as well. A mate of mine was a Wednesday fan in the Rawson Spring in Hillsborough, watching it on TV. There were people on tables celebrating a 0-0 draw. And it didn't escape Chris's attention at the end when the Wednesday players are throwing shirts in the crowd. And he said it in the book as well. He said 15th in the championship. They draw 0-0 at a team that should come out of what they call the pub league. And he summed it up there. He said, if ever there was a time when that gap was closed, I think that was it.
That was it. So,
good bit. Yeah.
What sort of a game are we expecting then on November the 9th, Friday evening, Dave?
Horrible, horrendous.
Right.
From start to finish.
I'm holiday. I think. Get out.
I mean, derbies have been turgid affairs at times over the years, because they have in other cities as well.
Last season,
but that 2-4,
that was
pretty poor, wasn't it?
Speaking from a neutral standpoint, was a fantastic game, one of the best.
I don't see
I've
it
seen.
like that. But,
no, of course you couldn't.
But I understand about how a neutral would have looked at that and said, look, we've seen 6 goals. And
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed it the other way around. I just enjoyed it.
Sure. In terms of the November game, what do I expect? I expect both teams to go at each other hammer and tongs. Absolutely go for it and stand up and do it. I don't think it'll be for the connoisseurs in terms of football. I don't think. But you'll get everything you want from a derby from that.
Wednesday have turned things a bit. We've got 50 seconds left. They're looking much more optimistic than a few weeks ago.
They are, and I think he's now got some team spirit in that squad, and that's coming through. He's got some of the young lads in, and we work for the team, you work for the team, and I think he has turned it.
And Danny, that's something long established at United.
Definitely,
fair, isn't it?
It's something that gets overlooked as well. They have the team spirit, but they also have a hell of a lot of quality in there. It's something they get tagged as a team of triers and got a good team spirit and that kind of stuff. There's some fine players in there, especially now they signed Oliver Norwood, who's just different level. So
how did they get him for?
Unbelievable.
Was it $1 million, $1.5 million? Or something?
It's a little bit more than that, but
just 1.75.
Yeah,
still
that's an incredible steal.
Look, these books are great. He's one of our own. This is Danny Hall's book. This is Wednesday v United. That's Richard Crooks' book. Thanks ever so much for watching. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Best of luck with the sales. Thank you, James. Cheers. See you next week. YouTube later.